Welcome to City Talk, a weekly conversation produced by the City of Waco to inform you about city events and projects. Each week, we'll bring you interesting topics with city staff and community leaders to highlight how Waco is an exciting place to live and work.
Good morning and welcome to City Talk. I'm here with Susan Morton, the Tourism Director for the Waco Convention Center and Visitors Bureau, and my name is Carla Pendergraft, the Director of Marketing. And we'll be talking a lot about Waco tourism, which is something that a lot of Wacoans and business owners are very interested in these days.
So speaking of things that our citizens are interested in, most of our citizens really don't understand what the Convention and Visitors Bureau does and how we're funded, what we do, how we operate. Can you fill us in a little bit on that?
Sure. A lot of people know about the Convention Center, although we have a lot of new arrivals to Waco that may not know. But we're that big flat building downtown, a couple of stories high, next to the Hilton and the Courtyard, and coming soon, many new hotels. This building's 144,000 square feet, and we can do anything from a wedding for 400 people up to a convention that's 2,000 people. So we're in a great situation for that, and we love hosting events, and yes, we are open. But a lot of people don't realize that we're the marketing arm for Waco as a destination, Waco as a place that people like to visit. So we place digital ads, print ads, we have some billboards, all the typical types of media that encourage people to come to Waco. And our goal is to get them to stay overnight at our hotels, to eat at our restaurants, to throw an axe at Stumpy's or Waco Axe Company, maybe enjoy a brew. And remember, those are all Waco businesses that are profiting from that. Then we can't forget the Tourist Information Center, which you manage, of course, and it's right next to the Texas Ranger Museum. We hope that Wacoans will visit and see what we have. We have some awesome Waco merchandise, and I try to stay on Facebook and look for people looking for that type of thing and encourage them to go visit. We just opened that. And all of these entities are part of a single department, which is a department of the City of Waco.
Awesome. And how is it funded? Where does the money come from to support us? Is it like the regular city departments, or is it different?
Right. So most city departments are funded through property taxes or use taxes. We're sort of a unique department. We are called an enterprise fund, which means that we're kind of expected to break, well, not kind of, we are expected to break even. And so we are funded by the rentals of the convention center and tables and chairs, bar services that we conduct, but we also are fortunate to receive a lot of the hotel tax, and that's why our department tries to bring people from the outside to increase that hotel tax receipt and thereby benefiting those hotels and all the jobs that are involved with those hotels. So the important point there is we are not funded by taxes on Wacoans. We are funded through taxes paid by the visitor, as well as the use taxes or the use fees for the convention center itself.
Awesome. Tell me about COVID and the convention center and the CVB. How did we respond to that, and what happened to our business?
Yeah, it was a pretty sad thing to go through. Of course, the convention center was closed down, like most convention centers across the state, and we lost so many conventions, and certainly weddings had to be postponed, and quinceañeras, and all sorts of events, and it was really hard. On the advertising side, we pretty much discontinued most of the advertising that we could discontinue. A lot of that was by contract, so we weren't able to stop all of it. But it was a time when we really didn't want to invite people to come.
Right.
So, it was really a hard time to be advertising. The little advertising we did, we tried to bring in the idea of masks and for really encouraging our visitors to politely wear one to protect our businesses and our Waco and our citizens of Waco. So it was a little bit of an awkward time because you want people to come eventually, but you just don't want them to come maybe right now. That has eased up, so we're now really gearing up advertising in print and online, and we do all the typical digital things that all of our marketers out there will be familiar with, whether it's digital Facebook, Google ads, geofencing, retargeting, native advertising. I know that a lot of this is Greek, but those that do marketing out there, that new world is pretty much online. And so we have geared that up, and we're moving past COVID, and we're starting to invite people back. One thing that people might notice is the traffic boxes downtown. You may not realize, but there's traffic controllers at each intersection that control those lights. And the boxes themselves are not very attractive. So we did wraps on them, as they're called, that talked about here's where you can visit to go to get more visitor information, WacoHeartOfTexas.com, which is the official visitor website for Waco. And it also asks them to wear a mask again. We want our visitors to be polite. We want Wacoans to feel comfortable about visitors coming here. So we've had a lot of reactions to COVID and have tried our best to handle it in a way that works for both the visitor and for Waco.
So for folks that want to book the convention center, say for a quinceañera or for an event, I know you were really limited to how many people you could have. Yeah. Where are we now, and when will it be 100%?
So right now we actually are booking at 100% capacity if the client wants it. Now we do have some clients that really prefer to have the social distancing still, and I think that's a function of how many of their members are vaccinated and factors like that. So we respect that. If they want us to set it at a socially distanced thing, then we go ahead and do that. But we can do up to 8 people per table. Right now. Now, August 1st is sort of the magic date for us. That's when we'll be at totally full capacity, and by that, back to normal where we can do buffets again. We have gotten some sneeze guards so that it protects the buffet food line a little bit better. We let our clients, of course, use those at no charge because we're trying to protect them, and we want them to be safe. And then we can do weddings and quinceañeras after August 1st. The reason why those were a little bit singled out, it's not because of their wedding, but because there was dancing, and we just felt it was very difficult for social distancing to take place in that type of event. But most people are already planning for later than that anyway. Very few are going to plan a wedding. A large wedding, before August 1st. So we're excited to be booking those. And if they want to book, just call the Convention Center, 750-5810, and we would be just delighted to look up your dates and see if we've got availability, and we'll walk you through the whole process. We can book up to about 700 for a wedding in Brazos Room, which is our signature beautiful ballroom. We would love people to book that for weddings. There are some dates available. Fridays and Saturdays, of course, the most booked, but we can look up any dates that you want. So
what kind of events do you have at the convention center that draw people in from out of town? Because a lot of times locals are not aware of what's going on.
Exactly. If they're not a wood turner or a rainbow girl or a judge or commissioner, they may not realize that we have a lot of private events that are convention-type events where the public isn't invited. And I know when I first came to Waco, people ask me, well, what's going on at the convention center? It doesn't seem like anything's going on there. Well, what they're thinking about is public-facing events like the Extraco Event Center has quite a lot of these where it's a concert, it's a dance, that's open to the public. And so many of our events they're private. They don't want the public to come to it. So, but don't assume that there's nothing going on. Some of the events we have come up, we did lose, even for 2021, we've had a lot of clients that, excuse me, have scheduled for future years or future dates. Excuse me. But we do have about one large convention a month that we're hosting. So in June, we'll have International Order of the Rainbow for Girls. This is a Masonic order that's been coming to Waco for quite a few years, and they're just lovely young ladies in their teens. They wear beautiful white gowns, and they go through patriotic-type rituals and learn about helping each other and helping society. So it's a great little group. There's about 1,100 of them coming. So if you see that influx, you'll know what it is. Then in July, we have the North and East Texas County Judges and Commissioners, and they're coming from all over the state. Your county judges, like Scott Felton is our county judge, and commissioners from all over the state coming for training and to get together in July. And then we have a leather crafters show in August. Now that is open to the public, but it really is aimed at the leather craft. So people who are leather crafters and make things with leather, there'll be a lot of supplies on sale, more so aimed at that trade. So we'd call that a trade show because it's really more for people that are practicing that trade. But I can't wait for the show to come because I think they have to have some jewelry and things made with leather at some point. So they will have some hours open to the public. And then just briefly, we have one of our favorite groups, Southwest Association of Turners, in late August. And they are already seeing a huge response to coming to Waco. They're up to about 900 pre-registered. So that interest in coming and meeting is absolutely there. Unfortunately, this year's still going to be a little bit light on the convention side. Some of them are going completely virtual, but many of them, like we call it SWAT, they can't wait to get back together. And as they told us, most of them are over 60, so the vast majority of them are vaccinated and just can't wait to hug their friends again.
They do some amazing work.
It's beautiful.
If you guys have not seen it, you need to go check out their, oh my gosh, it's just incredible what they can do.
Yes. And it's really more of a trade show, so you'll see big blocks of bodark wood, for example, or mahogany that they would then hone down into objects of art and things. So it's a very interesting show to us because we go through and see big blocks of wood or lathes for sale or just different things. But they have a beautiful gallery of works of art made in wood that is going to be open to the public, and we'll try to get that out on our calendar of events. But it's some beautiful pens, are probably most common thing that are turned on a lathe. But they also do wooden jugs and vases and just beautiful art objects. So that's a fun one. So awesome. We've talked a lot about the convention side and convention center, but it's time for a little tourism talk, Susan. So we hear about tourism, but that's just such a general term. And I think Wacoans want to know, why does tourism in Waco matter? What is about it and the economic impact that makes it something we should care about?
Well, I know that a lot of the locals see tourism as the thing that has a lot of people in the streets and moving around, and maybe they think they're in their way, or it's frustrating because maybe somebody's going a little slower because they don't know where they are or what they're doing.
Or going the wrong way on.
Or going the wrong way on a one-way street. Not that that's ever happened. But, but what our locals need to realize is how much money these folks are bringing to our city. In 2019, visitors spent $630 million in Waco, and that brought $59 million in taxes, local taxes,
like sales tax and taxes like that.
Right, and that stays here in our community. That helps to pay for those street repairs and things like that. So, keep in mind that these people are providing income to our community that helps pay for things that's not coming directly out of our pockets as citizens. Not only that, but there were 6,000 employees in 2019 who worked in the tourism and hospitality industry. So that's 6,000 jobs. That makes it an enormous employer if you put them all together.
And where do those figures come from that you're talking about? Are they something that our department comes up with, or are they from someplace official?
Those come from the governor's office, the state of Texas, those particular numbers. We do also track attendance, and all of these numbers are available on our website. If you go to wacoheartoftexas.com, click on About Us, and then you'll see research and statistics, and you can find this information and links to others. And I think they're pretty impressive numbers.
They are, and we can't wait for them to return to more normal because, of course, we know that hospitality was hurt badly during COVID. Can you share a little bit about the impact of COVID on the tourism side of the business?
So on tourism, our attraction attendance was down 50% last year. That was pretty painful. It is starting to come back. But the visitor spending was down by 25%. So if you look at 25% of $630 million, that's a lot of money we missed out on. Thank you, COVID. The state average, however, was down about 31%. So we did fare better than most of the rest of the state. And in fact, we're one of the leaders in bringing tourism back to Texas. We are almost always in the top 3 in hotel occupancy, and our visitor interest in our city is higher than most other Texas cities. So we're not just helping Waco, we're helping the whole state by drawing visitors to Waco.
And that's kind of a nice honor for Waco that
it is.
we're
It's huge.
Driving visitation to the state.
I put that in the Who'da Thunk It bucket.
Well, and I know that you have group tours that come here, and the Waco is the only place that they're going to. Is that right?
Yes.
Where are those tours from?
So there's one group that comes every year, sometimes twice a year. They fly out of New York State into Dallas, get on a bus and come to Waco and spend 3 or 4 nights. And they only do Waco. They're not going to San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, except for to fly in and out of Dallas.
Well, and I know that a lot of Wacoans think that, well, these visitors are just going to Magnolia Market and then they're turning around and leaving. So if they're here for 3 or 4 days, that's a lot of time to spend on Magnolia
So
Market,
they're spending maybe 1 day or maybe even a half a day focused on things Magnolia. And then the rest of the time they're dining in our restaurants, they're staying in our hotels, they're going to our attractions, they're shopping in our shops. That's become a huge thing, is just shopping, and not just at Magnolia, but everywhere. We've got tons of locally owned businesses, which during COVID just had to depend on us locals to keep them going. And we're very fortunate that very few of our businesses wound up closing permanently, but they were certainly impacted. So I have to encourage you, as well as our visitors, to go out and spend some money with our local businesses and help support them and help them get back on their feet.
Yeah, I'm so proud of the Waco businesses that did make it through, and I know that the majority of these business owners absolutely welcome the visitors that are coming to Waco and see them as a source of more revenue for them, because we saw everybody's revenue go down. In every small business, I'm sure, was impacted. I can't think of anything that was not impacted, but certainly in the hospitality side. And hospitality is actually one of the largest industries in Waco. I think it's tied for 5th place. And what's interesting about Waco's economy, and all of those statistics come from the Waco Chamber, our wonderful partners there. We have a very diversified economy. You can't say that Waco is just all one thing or all another thing. And so tourism and hospitality and leisure are definitely a growing industry. And you look at the number of people employed, and that's just going to go up. We have so many new hotels coming to Waco. That is something you can also find on our website. We track the hotel growth, and we track their occupancy in this MSA, or the statistical area of McLennan County. And what I'm proud of also for Waco is we've had 4 new hotels open in the last 2 years, including one of those years being a pandemic. And they're at 80% occupancy on the weekends. That includes all those new hotels. So a lot of times when new hotels come into a market, now that's going to depress the occupancy percentage for all of them, because there's, you have, let's say you're using 1,000 rooms a night. So now you've got 1,000 rooms that are going to be spread around all of these hotels. Well, what's nice is this pie just got bigger, and people are using these hotel rooms. I will say during the week, it's a little bit of more supply, less demand.
Right.
So if you have people come from out of town, suggest that they come during the week. Or if any of the viewers out there have a sporting event or they have a convention they want to look at, we'll have lots more availability at our hotels and convention center during the week. So the weekends are kind of really used by our tourists, many of whom have heard of Magnolia Market. But our goal at the Convention and Visitors Bureau is to show them all the rest of what Waco has to offer, because Waco has so many great, great attractions. Would you care to give us a rundown on some of the biggest attractions when we think of attendance?
I would love to. And I will say, speaking of attendance, that in 2019 we had, well, the last 3 years before last year, we were averaging about 2.5 million visitors a year.
Incredible.
Just huge, huge, huge. It's made us a major player in the tourism industry for Texas, which is something that we strove to be for years, and now we're there. We're actually a destination. But we have several large attractions. Obviously, Magnolia is the big draw. That's what tends to bring most people to town. But like you said, that's not all they do when they're here. We're the home of Dr. Pepper. No other city can say that. We have the official Texas Ranger Museum. No other city can say that. We have the Waco Mammoth National Monument, the largest find of a nursery herd of Columbian mammoths. No other city can say that. We've got the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Only one of those.
Yeah.
Yes. We have lots
Mayborn.
of arts. We've got the Mayborn, which has their brand new largest dinosaurs exhibit. I went to that this weekend.
I can't wait to see
It
it.
was pretty awesome. I have some super cute pictures of the grandkids there.
Oh, I can imagine.
And then Homestead is a big draw. Lots of fun, lots of events, fabulous food.
Tell us about Homestead's Cafe. Isn't that one of the more popular restaurants?
It is. According to TripAdvisor, it's usually the #1 Waco restaurant. So if you haven't tried it.
Why is it considered so great?
Oh, it's just wonderful. They are one of those places that doesn't do anything they don't do really, really well. Mm-hmm. And food is one of the things they do really, really well. They have locally sourced and organic foods. Mm. They have homemade breads. The jalapeno sweet potato soup is...
I love that.
one of my favorites. If you haven't tried it, you need to. They've also recently opened a coffee shop there. They have a cheese cave, which is a pretty rare thing in Texas. And it's free to go out there and wander around and look around. If you go on a Saturday, you can do a hayride. You can go out there and take classes. So it's not just for our visitors. It's awesome.
And I know they have some events. Where can Wacoans find out more about events that are coming to Waco that they might be interested in as well as a visitor?
So we've got about 5 minutes left, and I'm going to do a rundown of some of our major events, not just there, but as things are springing back to life, we've got so much going on. So if you want to know what to do and what's going on, there's a couple of ways you can do that. One is to go to wacoheartoftexas.com/events, or you can just go to wacoheartoftexas.com and click on events. At the bottom of that page, you'll find a link to download our app. And it's called the official visitor app. But for our locals, you can find out what restaurants are around you, what shops are around you, what events are going on. There's plenty of stuff to look at. And speaking of events, we're going to have a 4th of July this year.
Yay.
I am so excited. We've been getting calls about that for months. And we're going to have a 4th of July. We're going to have a celebration. We're going to have the Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo. We're going to have the Homestead Thanksgiving Festival. We're going to have arts festivals. We're going to have concerts. It's just so amazing to see. I'm such a dork. I have goosebumps. It's so amazing to see all of these people coming out and enjoying their city, and for visitors to come and enjoy our city. That's probably my favorite thing, is to watch people come to Waco with kind of some unknown expectations and watch them go around and fall in love with our city.
And you're in love with your city, I can
I
tell
am.
too. I would say that's something about you and I. So I love this city too, and I love the convention center. I just think it's the most awesome place. It's there is tax funding from property tax for the convention center that was renovated in 2012. So I always considered a sacred duty for me to help maximize the rentals of that place and what we do there, bringing in people from out of town that will also give us tax revenues from the hotels because Wacoans reached into their pockets to help fund that. And that creates an onus on us to really treasure that investment that Wacoans have made. It's now been almost 10 years since that happened, but our visitors and our meeting planners just love that facility, and I love it too. The excitement of when a convention comes in. The Lions Club was here recently, about 500 Lions, bigger attendance than what they thought. And just everybody's excited, and they're walking around the facility, and there's just an excitement and a buzz in the air. And that's some of the things that we get from conventions and tourism in our jobs, our positions.
So we're going to wrap up here in just a second, and I just want to throw out there, I want to remind our citizens to get out and enjoy the city. Go around and look and see what draws people here from all over the world to see Waco. You don't have to leave town to have a good time. We have so much going on here. Be sure to download our free app. You'll find it really useful. Check our calendar of events to see what's going on. And remember to be patient with our visitors because they are bringing a lot of money to our city. So show them a little patience, show them a little kindness, maybe even go out of your way to thank them for coming to our city. One of the things that I hear the most often is what a friendly place we are to visit. And I think that keeps people coming back and spending more visitor dollars here. So that's exactly what we want to do.
I agree. If we know that Wacoans out there are proud of Waco. So if you see a visitor and they look a little lost, and you and I see them a lot, just offer to help them out and tell them what you love about Waco. Tell them that, oh, I see you're here for this or that. We hope you get out to the Mammoth side or to the Mayborn Museum or whatever it is that you love the most. Show them your Waco. We would love for you to do that.
They will all want to know what your favorite restaurant is. Yeah. So be prepared to answer that question.
It's true.
Well, I think that wraps us up. Thank you guys for listening to us. And
thank you.
If you have questions, give us a call at the Visitor Information Center, 254-750-8696. We're there Monday through Saturday.
Thanks.
We hope you enjoyed City Talk, a production of the City of Waco. Catch this program on local radio stations on Sunday mornings at 6:30 a.m. Find the podcast on your favorite podcast streaming service by searching City of Waco or view it online at wccc.tv.